Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm sharing my biggest project yet. I share with you guys how I set up my 240 liter or 63 gallon ecosystem tank. I'm going to cover everything from my soil slash sediment mix, from adding the hardscape to planting and adding 8 different species, both animals and plants in total, to the tank. I have big goals for this setup. My goal for this tank is to become a huge ecosystem. I actually want to add 100 species of animals and plants to this tank. And I need your help for that. If you have ideas on which life forms to add, please share them in the comments. It helps me a lot. And now, have fun with the video. So now that I carried upstairs all of the buckets here with the fish, I'm just going to quickly show you guys. All survived, they all do well. You can see the guppies here, you can see the snails in there, or one of the big snails, and the duckweed. And now the duckweed is really beneficial because they can hide under it, so they just feel more natural. Also this other bucket filled with fish and a lot of other snails, they also do well. You can also see the amount of shrimp there. Exactly, now it's moving away. Quite cool, this amount of shrimp is super old already. And here, just a bucket with another bucket with aquarium water. Shouldn't be any bigger animal in there, no fish or something. So ready, I think they would survive days in there if you fed them. Of course, that's not my goal. I want to put them in the tank quick now, but just to give you guys an update. Of course, yesterday I poured in some water, test whether there's a hole somewhere in the tank, which there's no hole because there's nothing, like no wet spot anywhere, so it's super safe to fill the tank. What I want to do first though is get rid of the water that's in there. This is bucket For the sediment, I thought about 3 different layers. I'm using pond soil, which I got from the DIY store. 10 kilograms, no, actually 20 kilograms, 20 liters should be enough. Very cheap alternative to aquarium soil because it's 10 or 15 times cheaper. I can show you the prices in the comments or in the description of the video. The sediment from the old aquarium is going to be the second layer. This second layer is going to separate the pond substrate from the sand, and the sand is the third layer. And for sand, I don't use aquarium sand, I use clay sand from the DIY store. 2 reasons for that. Clay sand is very cheap. It's one of the cheapest things you can buy in the DIY store. And it's super clean because it's supposed to be working for children to play in the sand, you know, for your garden. So they filter it, I think 10 or 15 times, it's written on the package. So this is what I go with. I tried this before, works super well. Let's give it a shot. It smells a bit moldy or old, but probably was in the DIY market for a long time. Doesn't really smell that terrible compared to the aquarium sediment, for sure. It doesn't smell terrible. And gotta be a bit careful because I don't want to scratch the glass or anything. Okay, maybe that's actually a bit much concern, but what I like to create, or what I want to create, is a slope. And with a slope, I mean slope to the back of the aquarium. I'm going to show you guys in a minute what I mean with that. Something I learned when watching MD fish tanks Sure. So I'm on the slope at the back of the tank, as I said. So just going to make everything small, but there's a lot of springtails and stuff in there because it's really wet, the soil. Move it here a little bit. I hope there's no larger insects or something in the soil, because they would drown, die and rot in the soil layer. And at the beginning there's not a lot of animals who, or micro fauna that could degrade this. This is what I want to prevent actually. Let's see. I want a lot of soil here because I want a lot of plants in this area of the tank later, and I don't want a lot of soil in the front. That was actually stupid from me. Put it there. Here I want one basin with only sand in the end. Gotta get something to clean this here. So here I only want sand. I'm going to build a small barrier with my with the aquarium sediment from the other tank. Because in the end it's supposed to look like a, it's called more slope. In the end it should look like a small beach in the front of the tank. Super nice look. I saw it in another build on YouTube. Really loved it, the way it looked, and I want to recreate that look. It'll only be covered with sand, because I don't want any plants to grow there. And I know with the light that this aquarium was delivered with, plants are going to grow insanely fast, even without CO2 filter. I don't want any more nutrients in there. Also, I don't want to have the look disturbed. Said a minute ago, I really want to separate sand from soil, but only in a small area. In the end, I think you guys will understand what I mean. From this top view, I think it doesn't make sense, but in the end it will make sense. I don't want to leave it there for too long. And I also want to make sure there's not too much organic material trapped within the soil later on. You can see the snails already on the rim of the bucket, actually, here. So as you can see, they survive this transportation in the soil because they have the shells. Super fine for them. Now I also aim for that slope with that layer, with every layer, but also with that one. And in the end, it's going to create a way bigger look in the tank than if you go without a slope. And actually, the soil is quite clean. Thought it would look more dirtier. And remember this the cryptocoreans that you saw in the last clip from the old tank. They only grew in this soil, and just look how, I mean, it's nutrient rich, yes, but compared to this black soil here, this is nothing.
Imagine how quickly they will grow in this beautiful tank here with both kinds of soils combined. It's going to be phenomenal. Just pour over boiling water over the hardscape, especially over the wood. Everything gets soaked in hot water. Just let it sit there for a while. Perfect. It's actually better to cover it fully in hot water, but I think nothing chemical or something was there, and biologically there should also be nothing there, like no threatening thing for our animals.
Alright, so after disinfecting all of the hardscape, giving it several trials, I'll just put the hardscape in the tank in a way that I think is nice. I want to create this effect where it looks like a tree fell down, and I'm using these yellow stones. I actually found them somewhere in the nature. Using this glue here from JBL, which you can use to stick together anything with anything. There are some exceptions like plastics, but I'm not going to glue anything with plastic. I'm just going to glue together the roots with the stones mainly, because I don't want them to float away, because one of the roots has been submerged in water for years and the other one is out of the basement. So I have to water this one because it's really dry. Next step is planting all the cryptocoreans from the old tank. I started doing that while the tank was completely dry. Well, not completely dry, but it's not filled with water at this point. And this was a mistake because the cryptocoreans, they didn't just lay flat on the ground, as you can see here. So in the middle, I decided to change my strategy. Actually, while I'm planting them, I'm filling up a bucket, and now I can just fill the tank up with water while preparing the rest of the cryptocoreans. And this proved to be a way better strategy, actually. I mean, there are some plants like Anubias, Battery, for instance. I add them in a few weeks. Actually, I plan to add them in a few weeks. Still have to buy some that are better planted while the tank is still not filled with water. But for cryptocoreans and other plants that don't stand by themselves, it's easier to plant them when there's already water in there. And you can already see what I mean here. Not the roots, the leaves of the plants are not as heavy as the water. So they float when you put water in. But they are obviously heavier than air and don't have anything that is stable enough to hold them. That's why it's easier if you just put them in while there's water in there. Now I intended to use the old filter simultaneously with the new one, but I couldn't get it running anymore, which was a bummer. All the beneficial filter bacteria are gone in this case because I don't want to get the old muddy stuff from the old filter out there. Really tried to get it working, as you can see here, but it just didn't work. Constantly keeping the plants wet while trying to figure out how this filter works. This filter is actually quite cool. Here you can see how I put in the heater into the filter, which is a cool feature. Never had it like this. Then I'm putting all the different layers of the filter in. Also took some time to figure that out, but in the end it was quite simple. It's very well instructed in the manual, in the user's manual. And then I add everything and add some more water into the tank until it's completely filled up, because otherwise you cannot start a filter, because the intake of the filter, and this is actually something that I noticed 1 or 2 days later, the intake of the filter is right at the surface level of the water, and I can't imagine a reason why you would do that. Why would anyone build it like this? The reason why I'm asking that is all the floater plants that you can see here already, now the filter is turned on, now you can see them moving around. They are moving to the surface and then they move to the filter intake. And this is so annoying because they always block the filter intake and stop the filter from soaking in the water. And it actually is very loud and noisy. So yeah, question to Juwel why they did that. Now you see that it's still cloudy, the water. This is because of the sand that was stirred up during pouring in the water. But it already looks so good, I think. Give me a thumbs up and a comment if you like the style of the aquarium already. Now I prepared all the cryptocorenes. In another video, I explain how I prepare roots of plants to put them into a tank. And now it's time to plant all of the cryptocorenes with this little planting stick that I bought 10 or 15 years ago, still holding. And now I think it makes sense to speed up a little bit here, because I explained in another video that I'll link here in my cleaning routine how I usually plant plants, aquarium plants. There's different ways you should plant different plants. And I already did a deep dive into that topic in another video. So, I think you can also tell that these cryptocorenes are super healthy just by the color of their leaves. And now I think I planted in there like 60 or 80 of them. I already mentioned in my other video that these plants are super old, like not these individual plants, but I got one of them or two of them 15 years ago for my old tank. They survived all the ups and downs in the tank. Now, I also put some other plants in this tank. Over the coming weeks, I will put a lot of plants in there. But let's start with this here. This is Hygrophila corymbosa stricta. I planted them into pots and put them into like a plant growth setup some weeks ago. And they grew insane amounts of roots. They will do exceptionally well in this tank. I already know it. Or I can tell from how healthy they look already. And I want a very diverse and natural looking ecosystem tank here. Here's the first big inhabitant, zebra nerite, or not a zebra nerite, but a nerite. These are saltwater snails actually that naturally occur in South America and the Caribbean, and it's the first inhabitant and already looks happy in there, I would say. All right. Now let's insert the fish. So since I added all of the water from the old tank, at least 80 or maybe even 100 liters, I waited for a bit of like maybe 30 minutes and some cycles with the filter to get the water warm and mix with the tap water. So it's maybe a 50-50 mix, because all of the soil takes also a lot of space. So this enables me to put the fish in right after, or right away basically, and you don't need any chemical or any jump start from any producer if you do it this way. If you have fresh water only, you should definitely add some bacteria culture, and even then you should wait for 1 or 2 weeks in my eyes. But if you do it the way that I did it, it's fine to just throw in the fish right away, and I can assure you they won't die. I had one fish die during the whole process, but only because it jumped out of the tank. But now that I'm recording this video and making the voiceover, it's zero more fish that died. So it's totally fine to do it that way. Now the Corridora has also jumped into the tank, went directly into the plants there to hide a little bit. I I think the Cory will really appreciate this sand. I think this guy never had sand as a substrate in his tank, so he will really appreciate it. And the guppies already explore everything. I think they are already hungry, like guppies. You can move them and they directly eat. They are like shrimp. They are just the same, or snails. They will start eating right away. And now you can see all of the algae, the floater plants, how the Nerite already is exploring, and then this big black molly. I only have one molly in there. I don't want more mollies. And as I said, the tank is circling now. The fish are exploring everything. I think it already looks super cool. It's a little, how to say, dusty at the moment because of the fresh sand, but it will clear up. And please check out the next video to see how it's doing after 2 weeks. I will release it soon. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and please tell me in the comments what you think about the setup. What do you think about my moving process? Can I improve somewhere? Thank you guys for watching.